Alright, what's good guys? Now we need to get these manual locking hubs in the Strada. We need to get the diff out of it and get it locked, but before I decommission that vehicle, we need to get old Cliff Dog running. And old Cliffy, he's been sitting there, man, I haven't driven it since well before Christmas. Broken valve, nice. So that's what's pretty much put this out of the game, and since the Strada's been running, I haven't bothered to fix them either, and you can really tell, because it's like cobwebs and, oh yeah, look at that. Lovely. So we get the wheel off, break the bead, put a new valve in it, get this thing running, take it for a quick boost, and then we'll start stripping the diff out of the Strada so we can get that locked, to get the manual locking hubs on it, locked front diff, and it should just make it so much more capable off-road, and then we can look into body lifting it. And once we body lift it, we'll be, body lift, locked front diff, manual locking hubs, 32-inch wheels on there again, yeah boy. Put our valve in. Now my rooms have got these cool metal valves as opposed to the normal rubber valve you find on most tyres, and this slots in as it would, and then I've got a washer to go on the back and another little ring and a couple of little locking nuts. So alright, this thing has not been running since, well, the last time I drove it, when that valve got ripped off. So it's been at least, I'd say, 2 months, and I'm not even sure what state I left it in. So let's have a look. I mean, there's a battery in it. All seems kind of together. I'll check the fluids off though, and give her a cold start for the first time in, well, the first time in 2021, I can tell you that. It feels so good to jump straight into a mate. Yeah, we on. We still on. Fuck yeah. 20, 24 pounds, 120, 130, 135, 145 truck coming. Fuck yeah, just demolish it. It's quite quick. Nah, it's not quick, but it's quite quick. What does that even mean? It's like, it's peppy. It's like peppy le pez. It's just kind of fast. Fuck, I'm not making sense. Fuck, after driving the Strada for like legit the last 2 months, and that's a 4D56, and if anyone's familiar with a 4D56, they are not quick. But after driving the Strada for like, 2 months straight now, and not driving Cliffy for that long, you jump back in Cliffy and what's like kind of quick, what goes kind of well, feels like a fucking rocket, man. Like, yeah, we on. I'll try and get a bit of a 0 to 100, but it's definitely not your bog stock courier, eh? Goes well. I need someone in the Hawke's Bay region with like a factory WLT. Comment down below, mate. We'll get in touch and like we'll go do some digs, do some 0 to 100s, or do some drag, do some drag races. So like bog stock courier WLT versus what Cliffy's got going for him, because Cliffy's going quite good here. And I don't have a whole heap of fuel going into it. It's definitely got a bit more fuel than factory. Fuck, it feels good, man. I did back in like December take it for some 0 to 120s, and I buggered with the fuel pump a bit. And I did record it all, and then because GoPros are like real reliable, it just all my videos ended up corrupt, and like none of them would play, and they all ended up looking like Minecraft. And I've got like a good Samsung SD card in there, so it was all formatted and everything. It should have been sweet, but fuck, just like GoPro issues for days, eh? But anyway, I did bugger with the fuel pump, like I said, the injector pump, sorry. I advanced the timing slightly, and I don't know if that really made it feel faster, but it did make it start heaps easier, which you've seen before. Like, it started real easy. And part of advancing the ejector pump is starting. It makes them start real easy. So it's kind of good, but yeah, I did try adjusting the fuel, and I upped the fuel, and to be honest, I actually wasn't seeing real good gains out of it. Like, not like when it's factory with the little turbo and you start turning the fuel up and it's like, yeah, we on. I started putting more fuel into it with this big TD06 that we've put on there, and it just sort of made it smoke way more off boost, and because it's quite laggy, this TD06, it's smoking bad, like it looked broken. So I found it kind of went better with just like a lower level of fuel and more boost, and it still coals quite a bit, and it's going pretty good, man, really, for a WLT. Boy, I'm trying to drift the car. Bit of third getting loose in the dry on 225s. But not bad, not bad. Holy shit, I was just about to lay it down, throw down a bloody skid for the boys. Went to boot the clutch, mate, and I'll have to crop the image, the footage, and see if I can actually, see if you can see it. But a cop came around the corner, like, right as I was just getting off the clutch, man. I ended up bunny hopping it and just like, whoop. He drove past me, brake lights on from him. I thought he was going to spin a U-turn, but no, he let me be. So, what was he doing out there in the countryside? Anyway, time to decommission the Strada though, and we'll throw down another skid some other time. I'm legit, like, not even really a big fan of Mitsubishis. I actually dislike them more and more the older I get. When I was younger, you know, Evos and Jizzes and Lancers and Gallants and VR4s, like, they were all real cool, but that's like, you know, and older Stereons and stuff, you know, they do make some cool stuff, but realistically they're quite weak, and they're generally kind of unreliable as they get a bit older, you know, because they are weak. Whereas the likes of the older Toyotas and that, they were pretty bulletproof, you know. Hondas, Jesus Christ, you thrash those bloody things all day. But the Mitsubishis, they're a bit weaker. The only reason I really brought this was because I just legit seen it, and what caught my eye was the nudge bar and the bull bar. I was like, that's weird, and then I seen this Strada bash plate, and I just fanboyed over it, you know, like, you see a four-wheel drive, and if it's got the running boards on it, it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's quite nice. Then I seen the running boards, and then I seen the flares, then I seen the double bull bars and the Strada bash plates, and then it had an aftermarket snorkel and some decent roof racks put on it, and then I seen the old chrome roll bar on the back, and I just legit, Pajero wheels, by the way, chrome wing mirrors, the single reclinable seats rather than the bench seat that L200s normally have. I just fanboyed over it, eh? I was like, that's pretty cool, man. That's like a all options ticked, like a last hurrah for the L200, and Mitsu's just throwing everything they had at it. I had to have it. Also the plastic one-piece bumper rather than the two-piece metal with the little louver down the bottom. I was legit just a sucker. I was just like, oh man, that's mean, I'll go buy it. Even this actually, like that, yeah, quite a lot of things have that, but it's still got the glass in it. So that's really the only reason I brought it. But I do have intentions of making it cool. So like I said, we've got the manual locking hubs to go on. I want to lock the diff while I'm in there, and then hopefully in the next few weeks I'll get a body lift so I can lift the cab 2 inches, because I got 32s for it and 15 by 10s I think they are. No, I think they're 15 by 8.5s actually, but they do scrub on the insides of the guards, and I've tried like beating it with a hammer and they still scrub. So we're just going to lift it 2 inches and then we can put those wheels back on it, and it should look pretty mean. Right, before we pull it apart though and fit that locked diff, I do want to take it for a bit of a test run down the river. We'll try and climb some sort of gravel incline and get its front feet over the top and just see it sink, and we'll see it open wheel, and see how sort of incapable it is really with an open front diff and an open back diff. That way, once I've locked it, we can go back there, try the same obstacle, and hopefully see great improvement, yes. Before I do though, there is a water leak. Yeah, I know there's a water leak, because look at the state of that shit. Fucking Mitsu. However, it hasn't really dropped radiator level though, so probably actually just pulled it all from the coolant overflow, hasn't it? Yes it has. So I've got to take one of the lines that go to the heater core off. That's what's popped and slightly leaking. And look at what sort of fuckery of a hose it is. I'll get it off, but oh man, I'm not going to be able to replace that with something I've got lying in the shed, I wouldn't think. So these are the lines that go from the engine to the heater core inside the car to give your heaters heat, and it carries water from the coolant system to the inside cabin of the truck to give it that said heat. However, the hose is leaking. Fuck, and it's really stuck on there too. Come on, you cunt. I think I'll go in the shed now and try and see if I can find something to get into there. I'm probably going to have to end up kinking the fuck out of something, but as long as we can fill the line back up, we'll be sweeties. Alright, this is why you keep lots of old parts, because I've got this pre-corroded hose already. I've trimmed it up, made it a bit shorter, and you can see it's kind of a odd shape. The other one was a perfect S. This one's kind of got a bit of a weird shape to it, but we'll just, you know, we'll make it fit. We'll make it fit. Oh yeah. Got a bit of a kink there, but you know, she'll be right, I reckon. She'll be right. It's certainly not advisable to have a kink in any of your water or cooling system hosing, but being that it just is the flow to the heater core, you know, it's not going to dampen any of the flow on the motor itself. So one thing I could just do is actually instead of having it go from here to into the heater core, is actually just come straight out of the block and then go back straight down here to its return. So basically bypassing all of this. The problem there though is I will be taking the heaters out of the coolant system, which then gives me kind of a lower volume of coolant, which I don't think would cause it to overheat, but having your heaters there as a bit of a backup to be able to turn them on to not only check that heat's coming out of them, so you know there's definitely water in the system still, but also having them there to be able to remove excess heat. You know, if it is overheating, I can turn my heaters on, and it just gives a bit more cooling to the whole system. You know, realistically these are only problems that people with shitty cars have, but yeah, these are problems that I have. Oh, just get the most reliable vehicle of the fleet out the way. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Well, we certainly haven't restricted the flow to the heaters because they're pumping, mate. Parked it in a dry area of the drive, let it idle for like 10 minutes, popped the old cap off, you know, made sure it's sitting there topping off. All is well in the Mitsubishi for now. We'll head to the river though, find us a little obstacle and show you how weak it is. As you can tell, it's real capable. Actually, four-wheel drive doesn't even seem to be engaging at all right now. I've got the transfer case in 4 low. The lights come on the dashboard, so I would say the diff's engaged because whatever sender that is on the diff to tell the dashboard that it's engaged, that's operational. But we've got no choice. My courier would get up this man. Oh, man. Okay, I've just jumped out of it, it's in 4 low, it's turning one wheel over at the back, the drive shaft's turning, but neither CV's turning. Actually, sorry, that CV right there's turning. But the front hubs haven't engaged. Piece of junk. So that's not the outcome I was hoping for. Last time I actually took this for a drive forward driving, the auto hubs did actually work. What I was planning on doing was driving up, hey, a target, I'll fucking shoot you later. What I was planning on actually doing was driving up the side of like the likes of one of these, so I could just get the front hooked over and then show you when it open wheels it'll just dig a rut on one side and then just leave me sort of on that angle there. Whereas once I lock the diff it should sort of dig a hole on both sides and hopefully but nah, it's not even. Hey look, there's a bus over there with a hello. So it's not even capable enough to do that, so we'll get it back home, get those bloody rude auto hubs off there because they ain't doing anybody any favors, especially the Mitsi, and yeah. There's a dog and it's running like right for me. Put the gun away. There's nobody around. There's that thing. What? I mean, I don't know who's friendlier, me or you. What are you up to, mate? You got a tracking collar on. Do you run away quite a bit? It's quite... Yeah, Jesus Christ. Timid. Don't you trust me, mate? Come here. Come on. It's okay. Gain your trust, then I eat you. There's phone number on the collar. Bloody tracking chip, I think. Is that a tracking chip? You must run away a little bit, eh? Do you not know how to get home, mate? You want to get on the back? You can hop on the back if you like. We'll go find you some, I don't know. We'll just find where you came from, eh? Right, well we got no four-wheel drive, but we got old mate there on the back. I named him Mark, so. Well, I just tried two houses and just seen some guy on the side of the road. We're in the pretty country, you know, dead end straight to the river. One guy was a local and he sort of said, no, he was like, no one around here's got a visitor, and I was like, what? Hungarian visitor? He knew the breed of the dog, but old Mark's still on the back, and this guy told me that, yeah, not around here's got a Hungarian visitor, as it is. So he's obviously come from somewhere else, so I'll head back into town. I'll drop by the local vet and see if we can't get his microchip scanned or something, and yeah, I guess I probably have to top my phone up or something, and try and get hold of this bloody number, because he does have a phone number. Like I said, he's got a number on the back of his collar, so he's obviously a bit of a runner, aren't you, Mark? Otherwise, failing that, got a Hungarian visitor. Woo! There was a bit of a change in circumstance to the afternoon, planning on trying to get that diff out, but ended up finding the home of a Hungarian brown dog. Yeah, that sort of soaked up the last few hours. So he's come pick the dog up. It did turn out that the dog lived like a good 10-15 minute drive away, so in walking terms I'd say the dog's been sort of walking or roaming for the last few hours at least. So that was good outcome. But once I upload this video or get this footage off the camera to the behind me and start editing, I'll get this video uploaded, and then I'll get the Strada in here and get it jacked up so I can get the wheels off it, because it turns out the manual hubs, it turns out the automatic hubs that I knew were junk anyway and I was replacing or upgrading with manual hubs actually need replacing because they're not working at all and I've got no drive to the front end. So means must, which is good. So I'll get it in the driveway, I can get the front wheels off, I can get the CVs out, I can get the diff out, and then I can weld my diff locked and then get my CVs back installed and get the manual locking hubs on, and it's an upgrade as well as a repair, so that should be quite good. Now the reason I want to lock it, like I said, I wanted to go down there and show you guys, but I didn't really get to because it turns out the front isn't engaging four-wheel drive anyway. With solid axle trucks like your Hiluxes and that, when they've got a beam axle in the front and the rear, basically they flex really well. So you go through ruts and the front end, when it's in four-wheel drive, will flex and drop, and you've always got two wheels on the ground, meaning you've always got drive at the front end, you know, pulling you along. With open diffs, you know, as soon as you get that, they send the power to the wheel with the least traction. So with an IFS truck, when you've got an independent front suspension and you don't have a beam axle, when they start three-wheeling, and you'll notice it if you watch four-wheel drive action, the guys from Aussie, and old mate with his Isuzu D-Max, I think it is, as soon as you see it start three-wheeling, it'll come up out of a rut and it'll lift a wheel off the ground. With IFS, the diffs, well, with open wheel diffs and independent front suspension, the diff is going to send the power straight to that wheel. So now you've got a wheel that's off the ground, getting full power, and the wheel that's on the ground getting no power driven to it at all, which will usually make you sit there and go nowhere and start, you know, getting quite clunky on your drive line, and you'll end up having to put a lot more throttle input into it and being kind of rough on the gear to overcome that obstacle because of you losing that drive to your whatever wheel's got traction or on the ground. So by locking the diff, you're going to send power to both wheels all the time. So whenever at three wheels, it's not just going to lose power to the wheel that's got traction and give it to the one that's off the ground. It's going to just keep pulling you through, and it means you can be lighter or easier on the throttle, easier on the gear. Your truck's far more capable now, and you know, you've got less services and repairs to do because you're not as rough on the gear. I have had it happen to me in the past with the Toyota Surf I had. Came up out of some ruts, it started three-wheeling, and I gave it the beans whop, and I got up out of it. I made it through the obstacle, but as it came back down, because it was open front diff, it sent all the power to that wheel that was in the air, and then when that wheel landed on the ground, it sent all the power back through the other way, and it shaved all the teeth off the crown wheel of the diff, so I actually ended up blowing the diff. That's enough rambling for me anyway, and we'll see you on the next one.